and welcome to a monthly dose of all things esports here on the OMEN Esports Report. I'm Rachel Stringer, and this is my partner.
Hey, I'm coming.
This is meant to be Mark Hatcher. You're meant to be out on time. And this is our lovely makeup artist, Jess. Jess, you shouldn't be here right now. Sorry, can you please?
Sorry, that's 100% my fault. Sorry.
Anyway, you ready?
Just about, I think.
Okay, this is Mark Hatcher, as I was saying, and here's what's coming up on tonight's show.
Coming up on tonight's show, we give you a bite-sized recap of all of the latest news in the Esports 60. We head to Cologne, Germany to check out Gamescom. We learn about the rise and fall of Quake, and we'll be joined in the studio by some very special guests.
Loads of cool stuff to come on tonight's show then. I can't wait to get started.
I think you might just need to go back and suggest the makeup artist. I don't think she's...
Charming. Anyway, on that bombshell, roll the titles.
There has been so much going on in the esports world over the past month that has almost been too much.
Almost.
For me to keep up with, but I said almost. So don't worry, because as always, we've got you covered with the biggest headlines in the Esports 60 roundup. You ready, Mark?
Always ready.
Go.
Let's go. Our good friends at Method secure another world first by downing Queen Ashara.
TSM stormed to victory at X Games to take the Apex gold medals.
Riot reveal they're working on a brand new fighting game.
The Young Guns go huge at the Fortnite World Cup to scoop massive prizes.
The latest hero to join the Overwatch universe, Sigma, is released for all platforms.
Team Empire follow up on their win in Milan and win the Rainbow Six Rally Major.
And OG make history at the International Night. Go on, OG.
Team Liquid win a thrilling final versus Cloud9 at the LCS playoffs.
And 8 teams, including Vitality and Mousesports, progress to the Legend stage at the Berlin Major.
Woo, so much.
There's always so much now, isn't there? Like every month is like more and more and more. What's your favourite this time?
Fortnite, obviously, because there's like 30 million in the prize pool there. And obviously Booga won 3 million. 1.8, I think, was for second place. But average age of the people competing was 16. And the oldest was 24, so I think we've kind of just...
Missed the boat a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Never mind.
Oh, well, what was yours?
I'm going to say, to be honest, the new Riot fighting game. I love the fact that we've got a new fighting game coming into the esports space. I think that it's great that we're going to have the FGC getting really excited about it as well. They love it. I want to see some awesome events, and I want to see these guys, you know, rocking that game.
Everyone loves new stuff. Anyway, right, it's your time to go up there into the control centre. There's so much going on, but as you know, we've saw the esports 60 seconds. So last month has been insane for massive prize pools all over the world, in fact. And we reckon it must have been one of the biggest on record. So let's take a quick look at the month in money. Okay, check this out right now. Month in money. It was ridiculous. Fortnite there, 30 million, as I said. Evo Championships there, 700,000. FIFA, 500,000 prize pool. Total, they're going up to 33 million. Building all the time, they're 34 million. Call of Duty there, 2 million. Dota 2, 33 million prize pool. Total there, 69 million, which equates to 292 Ferraris, 5 Learjet 75s. 42,715 owned by HP Gaming PCs. I mean, I don't know who want 42,000 of them. I just want one. Mark, 62 million.
Oh.
If you could even think of that number, what would you want to buy?
I don't know, but I'd feed my Lego addiction. I don't know, like something weird like that probably.
Yeah, but you haven't got a big enough house for all that Lego.
Build a house out of Lego if I needed.
Okay, well, whatever. It's a load of money.
Thank you very much, Rachel. And it is time for the Control Center. We'll be wrapping up everything from the world of social media and esports in the last month. And first up, we've got this tweet from Team Liquid talking about their preparation for the CSGO Major in Berlin. Let's take a look at that tweet right now. Preparation's so important for tournaments. In case you're wondering, the Major's been going extremely well. Now, if you're wondering, what is this video? Probably just a standard boot camp video, right? No, you could be more wrong. Check this out.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paper boy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, but waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you.
Absolutely incredible stuff there from the Liquid guys. Really getting ready in the best way possible by making some bit of a throwback content. Is that what we're going to call it? Well, next up, we're going to look at something which really I enjoyed, I've got to say. And that is our next tweet coming in from Fortnite streamer and World Cup commentator Jack Courage Dunlop. Now, we all know he's got a little bit of a thing for Ariana Grande, as a lot of people do. But with this tweet, he might have just won the internet.
Try to open up and love more. Try to open up and love more. You were my boyfriend, and you were my girlfriend. I probably wouldn't see nobody else, but I can guarantee that by myself.
Absolutely incredible stuff there from Jack. And one thing that I enjoyed as well is he got the response he was looking for as well. Look at this. Ariana Grande replying with, "You're perfect." Shout out to you, Jack. Shoot your shot. Sometimes it works for you. Next up, we've got an incredible tweet coming in from Slasher that shows off the skyline of Shanghai. And of course, this is ahead of the International 9, and the teams taking part are seen here in this beautiful skyline. Now, we all got very excited about this. We thought, this looks amazing. This looks beautiful. It looks absolutely wonderful. Good stuff, Shanghai. Unfortunately, we saw part 2 of this tweet now, and as you can see here with the follow-up, I hate to do this, but Valve has just confirmed to me that the photos above, taken from the International's opening trailer, are graphics for the video and not real pictures. Unfortunately, wasn't quite what we wanted, but had most of the internet fooled, including myself, but we still love it anyway. Now, to finish off here at the Control Center, it's time for an OMEN update, and this should get all you CSGO fans excited. Take a look at this. It's the OMEN Challenge 2019. Amazing, amazing stuff, as you can see there, and not long to wait either, as we now know that that's taking place in just a few weeks' time in September. It's definitely going to be a really, really cool event with amateurs mixing it up with the pros in that 1v1 format. Who are the good pros going to be, though? Well, keep an eye out for details by following all of the OMEN by HP social channels, and maybe you'll just find out soon. Now, obviously, that's everything from the Control Center for now. Let's take a look at what's coming up.
Here's what's still to come on the show. Geo Collins helps us analyse some Overwatch in the breakdown. We test the guest aiming skills in the headshot challenge, and we give you the inside scoop on Gamescom 2019.
Well, an absolutely jam-packed show tonight, so do not go anywhere. And my personal favourite is the Rocket League Challenge. That's coming up a bit later, and that can only mean one thing: competition time. So here's what's up for grabs tonight in this episode. So make sure you follow the instructions on screen to get your entry in for a shot at those very, very cool prizes on the screen right now. Right, now it is time for the second and best part of the show, in my opinion. It is, of course, time to introduce our lovely guest this evening. Hi, guys. We have Geo, Cyanide, and, of course, Mr. Dan Gaskin. Welcome.
Thank you for coming.
To our lovely red sofa. How are you all doing?
Good. It felt weird clapping myself.
No, please do again.
I was just
Yeah, really, it did feel like we were all just clapping for him.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're clapping for all of you.
Yeah, but that's what it felt like.
How have you all been, though? Are you well?
Yeah, it's going good.
yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. I've had a big burger backstage before.
A lot of food.
A lot of food backstage,
We like to
yeah.
look after you, right? We like to
Yeah,
make
of
sure
course
you're
you
fed
do,
and watered,
exactly.
ready.
Well, we're going to put each of you in the spotlight, but Geo, you are up first. I mean, you do so much. You host, you stream, you obviously cast. Is there anything you don't do?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. You put me on the spot.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot, but here's a little glimpse into Geo's world.
Mara Mara. I can hear you, crowd. I couldn't have gone anyone. Of course, you're playing in virtual reality. Playing in that LAN environment with an audience on a stage is very different.
Need to go take like a cold shower.
You enjoyed that?
Yeah, when we were one. No, we didn't win.
What? No, we said you didn't enjoy it.
We got two second places.
And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
So you were just saying there were quite a few older clips of you streaming, which you don't do as much these days.
No, not at all. I used to stream quite a lot, like 5 days a week, and then I really shifted my priority to, you know, casting and being on broadcast. Because originally I actually just wanted to be a streamer, and then I changed my mind and realised I actually wanted to put all my eggs into the basket of getting into broadcast, and I just haven't really streamed since focusing on that much.
Well, speaking of commentary, obviously Overwatch is kind of the thing that you're specialising in at the moment. Let's talk about Overwatch Contenders, because that's something you've been heavily involved with yourself.
Yeah, so Contenders is obviously Overwatch's tier 2 kind of scene. I've been working on the Chinese region. They have a load of different regions. And the way that it kind of works is some of the regions are sort of outsourced to third parties, which is what China is. And some of them are run directly by Blizzard. And yeah, it's been really interesting because, you know, that's where I wanted to kind of end up in this situation. And China is a very hectic region.
I can imagine it's,
yeah, they kind of play by their own rules. They don't really stick to the meta or anything like that. It's been a lot of fun to cast.
What got you into Overwatch in particular over any of the other esports?
Well, I mean, I was playing Overwatch before I actually started watching Overwatch Esports, and it's kind of funny, and I feel like such a clown when I tell this story, but for the longest time, I remember being like, I really wish Overwatch were an esport, because I wanted to get into esports for the longest time, but all my friends were into other games that I wasn't really playing and interested in, so I thought that that's all esports was. And then when Overwatch League started, and I was like, whoa, cool, I'm gonna watch this, I realized that it had already been going for like a couple of years at that point. I felt like such an idiot, so I was already into the game.
And we're obviously talking about Overwatch. There's a new character, I guess, a new hero.
Yeah.
We've got Sigma. He's the kind of gravity-defying character with a... Well, you're going to describe him, but what's he changing in the meta in the game? And do you think kind of everyone's going to take to him?
I mean, yeah, he's an interesting character. I think what you're referring to there is the fact that...
Look at it.
Everybody's going crazy over the fact that this man just doesn't own shoes.
What?
Like,
Everybody own shoes, but he just chooses not to wear them. It's a choice.
Everybody refers to him as toes. And,
but what are his pros? Like, what are we going to kind of see from him?
So he's a very interesting character. He's kind of come in as... People didn't really know if he was going to be an off-tank or a main tank, and I think right now people have realised he's going to take that off-tank role, and people have been coupling up with Orisa quite a lot, and he's going to be able to provide that shield that he can kind of place anywhere on the map, so you'll have a constant recyclable shield, which is really quite oppressive. So we're likely to be seeing some very like sort of long-range play, getting DPS heroes like a Mei, a Hanzo, or a Symmetra who have that shield break. They can pierce through his abilities quite well. But yeah, he's really going to be quite an oppressive hero.
What's the reaction been like to him so far?
People were really excited when he was first announced, to be honest, and a lot of people said that Blizzard's announcement of him, because they always release like a video with sort of some background story, a lot of people said it was the best one that they've done so far. And so people have been very excited, and obviously everyone gets excited whenever a new hero is announced to see what it is they're going to offer for the game. But I think some people are a little bit tentative, a little bit nervous about how hard he might be to beat.
I think that everyone's always a little bit nervous when something new gets introduced to the game. You see those little meta shifts. Well, let's talk about competition. Let's talk about the upcoming OW playoffs, because Overwatch, obviously, huge competition coming up. What are your thoughts on that? Who's going to take the title? Inside scoop from Geo. Big prediction straight away.
You're putting the pressure on me. It's so hard to tell right now. I mean, I think one of the really interesting things about it at the moment is the fact that London Spitfire, who won the entire thing last season, they're currently in play-ins. So they haven't directly made playoffs. They have to get into the top 2 in the play-ins bracket in order to actually get there. So it's kind of a testament to how much Overwatch has changed over the course of the last year. But it's very interesting because this 2-2-2 lot came in for stage 4. A lot of the teams that weren't necessarily doing as well earlier on in the season are now actually sitting in these top spots. So it's been really unpredictable. Personally, I would say my favourites are San Francisco Shock right now.
I love that you've given us the prediction as well.
Normally
people are like,
no, because I mean,
first game's played.
Vancouver Titans, they're sort of the team that consistently have been at the top, but I think personally San Francisco are a lot more flexible and they can offer a lot more, and they have beaten Vancouver at certain points in the competition, and so they've always kind of been like this, but I think in this case San Francisco sort of have the edge.
I love all the names like London
Spitfires, yeah.
They're
fantastic.
They're
names.
good.
Yeah, but
They're very
I feel
satisfying.
like London should have gone with something like London Tea Drinkers.
I would immediately
scary.
find
I don't know,
that.
because they're owned by Cloud9, and Cloud9 are going to want something like cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch? Do you kind of know any of these teams, expecting them to do well?
I've always supported London Spitfire just because London.
See, I don't.
Not tea drinkers.
I live here and I don't support them.
It's impossible to ignore. I think Overwatch League, you know, you see it everywhere, Twitter, on Twitch, all over the place. You know, it's just everyone's talking about it as well when the league's on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're interested in Overwatch or not. it will come to you. So.
Well, you've heard the predictions for the Overwatch playoffs, so if you want to put your money on that, you know what to do. Geo said it, but there's still so much coming up on today's show.
Maybe how liable, I'm sorry.
OK, don't go for her prediction. Anyway, so much coming up. Here's what you're not going to want to miss.
Still to come on tonight's show. OMEN squad member Cyanide joins us on the sofa. Things get heated in the Rocket League Challenge, and we learn about the rise and fall of the original esport, Quake.
Time for my favourite part of the show, the Headshot Challenge. This week, Cyanide took on Dan, and as always, we added a little twist just to spice things up. This is the CSGO Headshot Challenge. Cyanide today is taking on Dan Gaskin. I believe you actually took part in Series 1, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
How did things go?
It was all right. I was very solidly mid-tier.
OK, can you remember your score?
It's like 20, I think, maybe.
That's a solid score, that's OK.
Something like that, yeah.
But we're going to make it a little bit more tricky this time out, OK?
So I've heard.
We're going to ask you some would you rather questions, which are rather unique, OK? You might have to have a lot of thought into these.
OK.
6 seconds on the clock. Time starts when you make your first headshot. Got it?
OK, yeah.
OK, whenever you're ready. He's underway. OK, would you rather lose the ability to read or the ability to speak?
The ability to speak.
OK, he took quite a lot of that. You can't speak anymore then, right. Be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Covered in fur.
We're not going to speak, but it's fine. Live the rest of your life on a boat or in a caravan? Tricky. Come on, think about this one.
Caravan, I get seasick.
I agree with you there. Be forced to dance whenever you heard music or have to sing every single song?
Sing.
Yeah, I can't sing. OK, you good at singing?
No, not at all.
OK. Only ever play Street Fighter or Tekken?
Tekken.
Done.
All
Not
right,
going to give away the score.
Yeah, all right, that's
Don't
fine.
give it away. Are you happy?
Well, no.
Thank you very much. It's time for Dan Gaskin to have a go. Dan Gaskin is in the hot seat. OK, lose the ability to read or the ability to speak?
Probably read, because I'd rather talk to people.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Scales, because I hate hair.
Are you a bit of a fish, are you?
Just hate hair.
OK, give up all drinks but water or give up hot food?
All drinks but water.
OK. Have unlimited food or unlimited first-class travel?
Unlimited first-class travel.
You did have thought about that a bit, didn't
Yeah.
you? 5 seconds. Only ever play Street Fighter or Tekken?
Street Fighter.
OK, that's it. Time is up. Mouse down. How do you think you got on?
I think I did really well.
OK, well, don't reveal it, because I'm about to do that with Cyanide right now. So we don't know the scores just yet, but
I'm nervous.
apparently Dan was cheating a bit.
How was I cheating?
I mean,
Wasn't he, Mark? You saw it.
You put in a ton of
I'm not
practice.
saying that. I'm just saying that he knows stuff about CS that I didn't know existed.
And I just want to ask Geo.
Asterix.
I want to ask Geo one of the questions because she didn't get to play. Would you rather have fur or scales?
Such a strange question.
I mean, why?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of money to be made off of being a furry. So.
She's going with making the money. OK, I like the thought process.
Wow.
But we want to see who won, of course. So we're going to reveal the scores right now. Who is...
He's done it! Are you kidding me?
34.
Are you joking, dude? Wow.
Reaction stand.
Was he cheating? No, he wasn't. It was legit.
No cheating.
I tell you what, though, this guy, right? Before we actually got on stage, he was sat there practicing for a solid hour and a half while I napped.
He's dedicated.
I was actually asleep backstage.
If you take that nap out of the equation, you put some practice in, I think you would.
Cyanide, you can't complain with getting 8th there, then.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
Wait, 8? Are you happy with that?
Don't
You're still napping when you're up there.
He got 19, but he was 8.
He's an 8.
Oh, God. Worried
got
then.
19, but I was 8.
You're busy giving us a lecture as to why it's great to sleep under a table.
Yeah, well, I believe that if you're rested, you perform well. Clearly, that's a lie. Yeah.
Clearly not.
So I beat Onset, I beat Bravo, I beat Paul, I beat Sims, I beat Adam Savage.
Dan, you're first. You beat everyone.
No, sorry, but I haven't had a go yet.
I beat all the people
Guys,
I
next
wanted
week,
to beat.
I'm going to have a go. Okay, anyway, well done, Gan. Cyanide, 19 isn't that bad.
Better than the 8 I thought
Top
you got.
10. We're going to go with that.
Thank you.
Anyway, right, if you're a fan of Overwatch, you're not going to want to miss this next section. Geo Mark broke down the major moment for a recent OWL game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my favourite part of every single show. It is the breakdown. We have Geo joining us up now, Overwatch commentator, of course, and we're going to be talking Overwatch. And speaking of Overwatch, bit of a meta shift recently in the game.
Yeah, there has been. They've now implemented what is called the 2-2-2 lock, which is where you have to play 2 DPS, 2 tanks, 2 supports, whereas obviously previously we had the world-famous GOATS meta where you'd play 3 tanks and 3 supports, and then a little bit of a triple DPS meta as well. So this is really going to change the dynamics of the game.
Now, speaking of changes, speaking of dynamics, we have a clip that you want to talk through, which is from last weekend's Overwatch League, where we have seen this new meta introduced. Give us a little bit of background before we get into it very quickly, and then we'll run through the clip.
So basically, the whole idea of this clip is it's one of those classic stall situations. You're the defending team, you're trying to stop an attacking team from taking the point. And oftentimes in Overwatch, this doesn't really work because you send out different players at different times, and eventually they get overwhelmed. But this is a really good example of a defending team actually succeeding in their stall.
Well, let's have a look at this clip then and talk us through.
So here we have the Gladiators. They're trying to take this point, and the LA Valiant, they're trying to come in. Now here we actually see this amplification matrix come out from the Batiste. Now the amplification matrix will double any of the damage that is going through it. So the idea is that as the LA Valiant start to filter in, they can deal in so much damage onto them that it's going to be too hard. But what LA Valiant decide to do is they send in their off-tank player, Space, right here on the Diva. Now he actually puts up his defense matrix in front of the amp matrix, so he'll be swallowing up any of that projectile damage that comes in through that damage boost. And of course, we have a Hanzo and a Batiste right in front of it, both of whom do give projectile damage, so they're going to be mitigated there. Now, while he's hogging all the attention, we see KSF on the Hanzo actually jump in, start cleaning up those kills. We see him in the kill feed, getting all the damage they need to actually be able to pull overtime all the way down and succeed in defending the point.
So they succeeded, they kept their wits about them. Communication is such a vital part of that.
Yeah, it's really important because, you always have this in-game leader in the game, and generally that works very well when the team is all together. But in those really high-pressure situations where anything can change in the blink of an eye, that's where it's not as easy to have that in-game leader. So you do have to be very communicative.
Now, speaking of people at home who can add that to the game, what would you be saying to add something to their game to sort of improve their Overwatch?
Basically, if you want to take anything from this, you need to know that A, yes, you have to communicate, and B, it's a really good idea to not all be bloodthirsty, going for various different targets. That won't work out very well. Take from this what they did, where they send in one person to try and mitigate that damage, and off the back of that, someone else to try and deal in their own damage, and that's how you get the cleanup. Because the second that you're all looking at different targets and all panicking, that's where you'll get overwhelmed by the attacking team.
So stay cool, stay calm, and stay composed, because you can always pull off that comeback, especially when things aren't quite looking like they're going to be going your way. Geo, absolutely fantastic. We've talked about Overwatch League, but we've got plenty more to come on the show, so let's take a look at what's coming up.
Still to come, Dan Gaskin joins us to talk all things esports. It's Team Mark versus Team Rachel in the Rocket League Challenge, and we take a look at what to be excited for in the month ahead.
As you can see, ladies and gents, so much more to come this evening. But Geo, I've got a question for you, which is, have you ever been to Gamescom?
I have not. Have you?
I have been to Gamescom. What a fantastic thing to say. I went there last week to check everything out. Let's take a look.
What's up, guys and girls, and welcome to the beautiful city of Cologne, Germany, where we'll be taking you around one of the biggest and most anticipated gaming exhibitions in the world. If you hadn't guessed by now, this is Gamescom 2019. So we're here at the entrance now, and these doors behind me are going to have thousands and thousands of gamers streaming in all week long, trying to catch a taste of some of this year's hottest releases. Now, to me, that sounds like a pretty good idea. So I'm going to head in, and I'm going to go and join them. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the most anticipated games of the year, and you can see exactly why. Look at the length of this queue. Everyone wants to get their hands on it. Why are you so excited for Cyberpunk 2077?
Basically because I really liked all the other things that CD Projekt Red have done so far. This game has been announced 7 years ago or something like that, so I'm excited to get my hands on everything I can get. Gameplay, demo, the art, everything.
Worse than 3 hour wait?
Probably, I hope so.
We're here at the OMEN by HP stand, and there's some amazing PCs downstairs, some amazing hardware, the esports area, but I had to come up here because I've always wanted to become a human claw. I feel like I'm going a lot higher than I should be. Catch? Honestly, that's like going to the chiropractor. Like my back's like snapped back into place. Run, run. One of the great things about Gamescom is that you find the little diamonds you wouldn't have expected to play before, and one game that I've just been playing is Roller Champions. That game was so much fun. I'm definitely going to be picking it up when it comes out on PC. Spin with a spin. No. Who wants to speak with camera? Will, nice to meet you, Will. Mark, how you doing? What are you excited about today? Obviously in the queue for Doom.
Yeah, I'm excited to play Doom, obviously. Like, rip and tear some demons and whatnot. Should be good.
And I've managed to bump into my good friend Daniel Gaskin, esports commentator extraordinaire. What do you think the significance of esports at Gamescom is?
I think we've already seen it grow from the years that I've just been in attendance, but I think it will get bigger and bigger, and it's good to be here because it gives it to a wider audience, because some of the public, they don't really know about esports. They just like video games as a whole, but we get to show them the competitive side. I think that's important because then we're going to get more esports fans, and I think, yeah, let's get more esports at Gamescom.
So when we're thinking about esports, and we're thinking about the highest tier of competition, we think excitement, we think intensity, we think farming simulator. Let's go, how are you doing? Congratulations on World First.
Thanks so much, I'm doing great. Just enjoying the first day of Gamescom. I'm actually only here for a couple of days, but it's pretty much just back-to-back meetings. And then I'm heading out to undisclosed location for a pretty exciting event for Classic.
Quite. Are you going to give us the info, the intel?
I mean, I'm afraid I can't. It's going to get announced real soon. You guys might already see it by the time this comes out. But yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff around Classic World of Warcraft, so I'm really excited about that.
Amazing stuff. Thank you, dude. All the best. Pleasure. So that's it. Our time here at Gamescom has sadly come to an end, and what a spectacle it was. My one takeaway from this experience is if you're a hardcore gamer or you're just a casual fan of video games, there really is something for everyone. Gamescom, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you next year.
Amazing. You like fun?
So fun.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Well, obviously Dan was there, Mark was there, Cyanide, you were there as well?
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun.
A whole lot of fun?
Yep.
And you're obviously on the OMEN stand.
Yeah.
Because you're part of the OMEN squad.
Yes.
You're also a streamer.
Yes.
You're pretty busy, you were telling me as well.
Occasionally, yeah.
Well, let's have a look into your world.
Wait, what?
Oh my god!
Oh, tree! That's fine. Second tree. That's fine.
Not friendly.
That's not friendly.
We receive our
parachute.
reinforcement.
Why did I click without thinking? Oh God! No!
I love that we picked all your best bits there.
I feel like they're applauding the fact I forgot a parachute, and that's a bit, I don't know what to feel about that.
It makes sense that I beat him in the CSGO challenge now.
Well, actually, we have a question on that from the Twitch chat. Dodge Games asked you, Cyanide.
Oh,
yes. No, not too bad. How much grief do you think you'll get from Red Eye after that performance?
So Dodge, Red Eye, and myself are a group of friends. We have a group chat. So, yeah. I'm going to hope that it kind of slides by him and he doesn't notice. He's pretty old, so he might not notice these things.
But did you...
I'm going to DM him.
Don't do that, come on.
But didn't you compete against him in last season's report?
Against Paul? Maybe,
Yeah,
I think
did you?
so. No, I don't think
Do you
it was
remember the
Paul.
scores? He was in it, obviously.
He was in it, yeah. Yeah, I remember the scores. I did way better than he did.
Of course you can remember that when you won. Anyway, let's kind of chat a little bit more about you. And obviously you were at Gamescom.
Yeah.
You were there with OMEN on their kind of stand. What else were you up to there?
So I did a bunch of stage activities for OMEN, and then we filmed a bunch of content with them, and stuff for them to use on their channel, stuff for me to use on mine. They actually said they wanted me to film a vlog going down to Gamescom, so they said, hey, why don't you drive down to Germany? And I was like, that is a fantastic idea. I will happily drive down to Germany on the Autobahn.
That looks really confused.
What are stage activities?
I was thinking the same thing.
No, not handstand. Do I look like I'm capable of a handstand?
Yes,
Well, that's a good politically correct answer. I like that. No, so like we went up on stage and we basically played with people from the crowd. So like we picked you generally get before the stage times like 100 or so people like crammed there, and it's a lot of fun because you get to throw stuff at people. You throw much, not at them, but you throw much to them.
We're getting a real insight into the mind of Cyanide.
Did you get to do the claw thing?
I didn't get to do the claw thing, unfortunately.
I mean, that was
got,
one
like,
of
a
the
bunch
coolest things there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like seeing a lot of people go up on it, though. It was a lot of fun. I saw people like grabbing, because the idea was you grab as many of the foam boxes as you can. And I saw people like grabbing them and putting it on their back and then grabbing some with their mouth, and I was like, yeah, that's
Speaking of cool events, though, speaking of cool events, another cool event that you were involved with yourself is obviously the PUBG Nations Cup.
Yeah.
You were out in South Korea, I believe.
Yeah, that was, wow, that was a really cool experience because I didn't expect it. They kind of messaged me like a month before, and I was like, wow, I had no idea. And then I got there, and it was, one of the best produced esports events that I've ever actually been to. Like you can see on the screen right now.
Absolutely incredible.
This was broadcast to Twitch, and the kind of AR stuff that they're doing here was very cool. Except Dan seems to think that those are actually people parachuting.
I mean, they are Dan's size.
So
I thought they were real people.
They jumped out of the ceiling and they managed to pull
That's exactly what PUBG
parachutes to stay so still.
I'm very naive. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But it was really cool. And, the awesome thing about it was that none of the teams had ever played with each other before. So it was incredibly hectic. Nobody had a clue what anyone else was doing. So it just led to like a bunch of crazy plays. And the rise of my favorite player of all time, Duckman. He's a guy called Duckman from Thailand, and he was like...
Say no more.
He was like 1v3ing other teams, just like it's nobody's business. So
Duckman killed
awesome.
you. It's just the best thing to
Cyanide, we
say.
know obviously you're a streamer, but you have quite a strong friendship with the pro gamer there, MBK, obviously plays for Vitality.
Yeah.
You guys kind of play against each other a bit. How did that friendship come about in the first place?
Well, it started off not as a joke, but it started off on a joke. We kind of messing around. He watched a few of the bullshittery videos that Soviet does on YouTube and stuff like that. And he got in touch. He's like, hey, do you want to play a couple of games? Let's have a bit of fun, So played a few, and then we started talking about cause, and that's when it was like, okay, this is my guy, so
You say that, however, we must bring something up, which is obviously when he gave you, we'll call it a shout out, after a pretty strong performance.
So
EGX tournament.
yeah, he won. He won the tournament. I think did he win a game? I can't remember.
He won it.
It was a while ago. Oh, so he won the tournament, and then
You did pretty well.
You're such a good friend.
he wins a lot of things. Okay, so he won the tournament. I had a bet with him before the tournament. I said, if you win, right, I'm believing in you. So if you win, you've got to shout me out. And Nathan being Nathan, he won. And then he went up on stage and decided to do the absolute opposite of shout me out, which was be very snarky, quite directly as well.
That's what I do. I'm not going to lie.
So,
Having lost the bet, I'd be like that.
Yeah, so that was that. I guess this is my chance because he's coming up to a big.
Yes, go on, talk about that. What are you gonna say to him? Your chance right now. To the camera, please.
No, I'm gonna be that because we had a very serious discussion a few weeks ago, you know, about how he's doing super well and stuff like that. So I want to back him, and then when he's got a bit of success and stuff like that with Vitality, that's when I'm gonna be snarky. After he's won a bunch of stuff and he's like, you know, got accolades and stuff, you bring him back down to earth.
That's
what friends do.
That's what good friends do.
That's what friends do. So that's my plan. So good luck, Nathan. With
in Berlin, where he currently is.
Exactly, with Vitality, and then the next one, I'm after you. That's the idea.
It's a very like r/malicious compliance type of friendship.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Cyanide, thank you so much. Obviously, you will be involved with the conversation a little bit more, but now is the time to talk about one of the games that started it all. We look back at one of the forefathers of esport. This is the rise and fall of Quake.
Quake is a truly three-dimensional simulation of combat with some of the grooviest weapons you can get your hands on.
I know I've went through every 3D game that's out there. I'm very much a 3D game buff, and Quake just rules them all.
Now, how do you like the idea of being paid to play sport on your computer? UK's first cyber athlete is Cambridge graduate Sujay Roy. He earns a living increasing the body count in the computer game Quake 3.
I've been a gamer my whole life, but I started taking it seriously back in 1996 when Quake came out. That was the first time you could play online against anyone all over the world. It was just mind-blowing to me.
Basically, because I was already interested in like the burgeoning internet culture, when you found out you could play games over the internet, that was obviously a sick concept. You felt like you were in some futuristic realm in that regard, and so there was an addiction in that area. Like it was a new experience because you were playing against a real person.
When id Software released Quake in 1996, it gave players something they'd not experienced before: a true online first-person shooter and the first taste of competitive gaming.
Back then, obviously, there wasn't even a conception of something called esports. There was just sometimes people might put on tournaments.
Events were, well, let's just say they were a collection of people. It didn't really matter where we were kind of organising it ourselves. It was community run generally. The gaming was just as competitive, and players, I think, had the same attitude of wanting to win regardless.
1997 saw id Software host a tournament in Atlanta, whereby players competed to win John Carmack's Ferrari. A player by the name of Thresh took home the grand prize.
Just the concept that you could win that in a game like Quake is mental.
Over the next few years, the series saw a meteoric rise in popularity. Players like Sujay were gaining recognition worldwide. The concept of professional gaming was becoming less obscure, and it was all thanks to Quake.
Quake was the only esport at the time. Quake was the only game that people talked about, but still it wasn't growing as we thought. The different versions of the games kept splitting the community up into segments that didn't play with each other, and that was a disaster. Just as it was getting popular, really felt like it wasn't going to be sustained.
A 12-year wait for a new Quake title had built anticipation within the community, but the announcement of Quake Champions didn't quite rise to the occasion.
When Quake Champions first came out, people loved playing Quake again.
The problem was, I could immediately tell by the changes they'd made. These are changes to appeal to the Overwatch crowd, to appeal to people who play League of Legends.
By changing the whole dynamic, it just didn't work, unfortunately. So there were a few mistakes made. Quake Champions suffered because of that, because there was a huge splash, but it didn't really hit critical mass.
At QuakeCon London 2019, Quake had a modest presence. But what does the future hold for the franchise that gave us our first taste of 3D environments, clans, and online multiplayer competition? The announcement of a remastered Quake 2, which boasts cutting-edge ray tracing technology, has stirred hope within the community. The reimagining of this old-school shooter again shows id Software's devotion to innovation and could be the right step in putting Quake back on top.
They were talking about that from 96. Like,
such a story,
23 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's our year.
Yeah, that's our year. We were both born there.
I
I was talking to Sujay a while ago, and he was like, yeah, back when I played Quake. I was like, oh, wow, when was that? And he was like, 96, and I was like, that was the year I was born. Like, you know, I was like a fully grown man at that point, driving Sujay around, and I was like, oh,
have you guys played it? Were you a fan of the game?
I've played Quake, RTX Quake. I have played. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was very raw shooter. You know, like
Super fast-paced.
Oh, yeah,
like
absolutely.
crazy fast-paced for
Absolutely.
an FPS,
Yeah.
I've actually never played it, but I feel like it would be a very me game, especially as you know, the hero that I play the most in Overwatch is the one that all of the Farah is the one that all the ex-Quake players went to, because she has a rocket boost or a rocket jump and she shoots rockets.
Yeah,
and so it's very
similar.
Quake style. So I feel like I should have done myself a disservice by not having played it yet.
Well, Quake has a new fan in Geo right there. But it's time to introduce our third and final guest. Okay, this guy, he kind of casts more esports than I don't even know what to do with. This guy can't clearly have much time for much else, Dan Gaskin. This is a look into what you get up to.
Have you ever looked into the sky and just thought, I wish I was a star?
I'm a changed man now, as I have been on a Japanese toilet.
But that could be a huge mistake. Get in the hill.
There's lots of room for activities.
He follows, and then merely seconds later, we see a subscription.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys.
And someone is already on -1. That's Boo Boo Doo already falling off the map. That's not waking up.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
What a package.
Oh, Dan, your dabbing there is not very good. Has it got any better?
My dabbing?
No,
come on,
it's,
man.
It looks like you stuck
Why is it twitchy?
Like
You know
having
when you'd pause VHSs? That's what it looks like.
We love you really, Dan. Anyway, I mean, that was kind of like some old school stuff on there as well, wasn't it?
Some of it was quite relevant as well, though. That was quite recent. The dabbing was, it kind of just happened.
I hope that was not recent.
No, the dabbing...
People describe dabbing these days. It just happened.
I couldn't help it. It was a reflex.
No, but obviously we saw you there on the Hearthstone casting desk. I mean, you're not involved in that as much anymore, but kind of, do you like where Hearthstone's going now?
I mean, I did Hearthstone for 2 years, mainly the global games, but then the global games stopped, so that's kind of why I'm not really involved as much anymore. Some of my best friends are still involved in Hearthstone, so I get to kind of find out what's going on. And the way it's going, the latest expansion's been great, the way that the team is reacting to all the card changes and making sure the meta is nice and stable. They try, but the meta always manages to get unstable, and there's always OP cards. That's what happens in card games. But yeah, I like the direction they're going. I know the players are a little bit unsure about some of the specific things, and they want some tweaks, but we'll see what happens. And I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I would happily do it again because I'm a big fan of the game.
No, it's not just Hearthstone. Hearthstone.
Oh,
Let me just take a sip of water and try again. Obviously, you're super busy at the moment, and you do a variety of different esports that you're involved with, whether it's commentating, whether it's hosting, etc. Talk to me about some of the challenges of being a multi-game commentator, though, because doing one for some people is tough enough. How do you sort of manage the workload?
It's very tough, to stay involved in every single community. I mean, naturally, when I transitioned from Hearthstone to doing a lot of FIFA, a lot of my Hearthstone followers, I guess I have those on social media, they would stop following me because they're not interested in FIFA, which is fair enough. It's also very hard to stay up to date with metas, etc., and you've got to play the game a lot. What updates have there been? The best way to do that is to play a lot of video games, which I'm actually quite good at because I'm a massive nerd, so that's good. And Hearthstone was the easier one because you have it on your mobile.
I can confirm this as well. Like when we're at tournaments, because I'm fortunate, whatever you want to call it, and I have to work with Dan.
So am I.
A fair
Love
bit.
it.
And we'll be sat in a meeting, in a green room, a production meeting, and Dan will have his laptop open, and he will be playing some game, whether it's Hearthstone, whether it's F1, whatever it is. You're always playing something.
But that means he's not listening to the production meeting.
Yeah, you're not meant to reveal these things because now everyone's going to be like, hey, wait a second, was he listening?
But obviously we just mentioned a few of the esports you're involved in. Just kind of list off which ones you currently work on right now.
I guess, so Halo, FIFA would be two of my big ones. I'm keen on working on Battle Royale, so like Apex, I could do Hearthstone, I did Asphalt Legends. I can do most things if I have the time to prepare for it.
I can't even keep up with a controlled scheme of like 3 games, and you're out there casting 6 of them at once. Like that's insane.
You jumped out of an airplane about a parachute.
Yeah, you are, exactly.
And you go, what was it, 19th, did you say?
Yeah, no, I got 8th.
Oh, 8th.
But I got 19 kills. It's crazy to me. Like it's.
And I'll make you feel better. I did play CS:GO competitively for about a year. So if
I'm leaving.
I know this guy has many talents.
He did not say this. Take 5 off. This is You're excluded. Who's top again? Am I back?
Wait, so you put me up against a CS:GO former pro?
No, not a pro.
No, he's not a pro. He's just
okay,
just like
competitive.
Okay, right.
Anyway, obviously, Dan, we're talking about the casting side of things. You also do some hosting as well, and we know you were hosting a little bit at Gamescom, and you tweeted saying you were a little bit nervous because you haven't stage hosted in a while.
Yes, it had been, I think, around a year since I last stage hosted, and it was kind of last minute as well, so that always adds to the nerves. I thought I was going to maybe be desk hosting instead, but I found out it was stage hosting. So I looked for comfort on the internet, which is apparently what I do, and I tweeted the likes of Machine, Golden Boy, Shocks, because I know that they have made similar tweets when they've been doing things that they're not maybe comfortable with. And that made me sleep easier that night, knowing that I'm not the only one, but it went really well.
How different, though, is casting from hosting? I know, kind of, Geo, you do that as well. You kind of do both.
It's a conversation that me and Geo have had backstage. You are kind of left to your own devices and you're left on your own a lot. Of course, you've got the producer in your ear and whatnot, but if that thing goes off or that battery dies, then it's all up to you. You're in charge of the show, you're driving the conversation, and you don't have anyone to fall back on.
I'm always terrified of not hearing exactly what the producer said because there's no way you can say, wait, can you repeat that? You just kind of got to keep going.
That's why I have Rachel.
I feel like, what can you repeat that? And he's not saying anything in the air, but I'm going to move on now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, Dan. Right, this is, again, one of my favourite parts. This is so much fun. This is the Rocket League Challenge. And at the moment, the scores are still in my favour. I am 2-1 up against this man, Mark, here. But we had 2 new partners this week, or actually 3, because he cheated a little bit. Anyway,
it's being a good teammate.
No. Here's how things went.
Is that what you were?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for the Rocket League Challenge, and this week we have obviously a change up in the teams of our guests. We have Rachel, aka the loser of last week's challenge, alongside Cyanide. Cyanide, you got to not be feeling too confident about this, right?
Hang on. No. We're 2-1 up, OK, over here?
I mean, overall, sure. 2-1 up. 2-1 up. I mean, overall. But we're about to tie things up, and I'm so confident this week that I've got Dan Gaskin to start things off. And behind, I've got Geo, who I'm going to be tagging in at some point, because, to be honest, we all feel like we should get a win, right? So I understand if you want to join Team Mark as well. I get it. Dan, I'm going for the ball,
No, that's fine. That's a hard pass, I think.
Go for the ball. I'm
going we're starting.
Yeah, we're going.
I forgot how to start.
Wrong goal. So slow. Yes! They did it for us. I told you we were going to win. I told you we were going to win.
No.
Dan, this is all you. You've got to get back, and I'm just spinning around. Dan, you've got to say, Dan, what are you doing?
Yes!
Yes.
I got lost.
Come on, we're back in it. Get out the way, Dan.
No, it's actually quite fun being a spectator because I get the nice crack of the keyboard.
Oh, Dan, just drive with the goal! Dan, just drive with the goal! Dan, just drive with the goal! He's done it!
What was that? How did you get those little spiky things?
Genius!
I had spikes.
Yes, that's
What was that, man?
Who's that? Dan, he's all over it.
What
was that? He's got some other
like
special.
a plunger.
Dan, how have you worked out how to win the game?
I've got no boost. I'm sorry, Cyanide. I'm out of this. I've got no boost. I'm too slow.
Right, substitution.
Sorry.
Substitution time.
Hang on. No. Surely the
I'm sorry, I'm a Glory supporter. I'm staying right here. Some firing. Right over there. No.
Oh, it's another one!
Right, Gio.
Right. Oh, gosh.
I
I completely misjudged the momentum.
Oh, wait, this thing.
Oh, my God.
I don't know who missed that.
Indicative of the level of skill here, everyone missed it.
And now I'm stuck on the roof.
All right, so E, so you can kick the ball.
All right. Yes, back in this.
Focus up.
We are gassy.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
That was me.
Fine.
Oh, my God. I can't
Boom.
get there.
Oh.
Yes!
No way, did you score?
Yes! Coming.
Oh, my God.
Yes!
What did you just do?
Jumping in.
Okay.
No! What the?
That's what you get. Give it. Take out Rachel. No.
Go on. Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate the help.
13 seconds left.
Can't afford to defend. Just go for it.
It's all on Dan.
I'm literally feel sick.
Go for it.
Seconds to go.
I don't know where it hit. I hit it, but I don't know where I hit it.
Dan.
Oh, I missed that piece.
That's 3.
Oh,
2. 1. All right, I'm out.
Wait, it's not hit.
Wait, it's in the air. You can't touch it.
Who does that say there? Winner. Oh, Team Rachel.
Feel gassy, I let the team down.
That's the end of the Rocket League challenge.
Oh my God, you are nice.
He's going to go for a cry.
I know how Arsenal feel now.
3-1. I mean, thank you for partnering up, Team Rachel Cyanide there. We were,
Actually, that's for both of you as well.
We were 4-1 down.
I've redeemed myself from the CSGO headshot.
You have indeed. There were 3 of
I'm
them.
going to point out an important factor. You were 4-1 down whilst I was playing.
Sorry, I got 2 goals.
All right, let's not put this on me. We saw his own goal.
No. It was a lot on Mark.
No, we were just great. Anyway, guys, 3-1 up. What you say?
I'm not going to lie. Wasn't my strongest performance, but...
No, neither was the week before last. So, that's all right.
Whatever. I tell you what, let's move on. Let's forget about Rocket League for a minute.
3-1, yeah?
Let's have a look at the month ahead.
Philadelphia plays host to the second ever Overwatch League Grand Finals. The London Spitfire look to defend their title from some fierce competition this year. After 7 weeks, the best of British League of Legends, Excel and Fnatic, come head-to-head live from Twickenham Stadium on September 1st. Berlin hosts the next CSGO major. Will favourites Team Liquid claim the title, or will we see another team rise to the challenge? As BlizzCon draws near and the end of the StarCraft 2 season looms, WCS Fall marks the last major of the year starting September 6th. DreamHack returns to Canada for another instalment of the world's biggest LAN event. Catch action from Rocket League, Rainbow Six and more over the weekend. Europe has seen a strong performance in League of Legends this year, and the LEC finals are looking to be unmissable. Catch all the action September 7th and 8th.
Yeah, the month ahead is so busy. But guys, have you got much going on in the next month? Dan, start with you first.
I can't confirm much, but I'll be probably in Poland, then Amsterdam, then San Francisco, then New York, all in one trip.
Someone's busy.
So that'll be fun.
Wow.
Cyanide?
I'm spending the next month in bed.
Okay.
I just come back from...
the opposite.
Yeah, Gamescom. I'm tired. I'm chilling.
Geo?
Well, the Overwatch season is over now, so most of that's done. So I've got a couple of small things, but nothing big planned. So yeah, I'm gonna have pretty.
Give the girl a job. She wants more work, basically.
Well, I mean, I've had a pretty sad end to this show, I must say, with the Rocket League defeat and the way that everything went down. But it's my time to spread some happiness across the world, and I'm going to announce our competition winner. Here we go. I'm excited about this. Wait, we've got.
Do we write these down? No, I'm going to wait. For him to open. Oh, it's exciting.
Just thought I'd give that a little bit of dramatic effect there. Right, OK, we have the golden envelope.
Come on, read it.
And the winner is Jacob Jones.
Woo! Well done, Jacob Jones. You win so many cool goodies. Anyway, guys, that is all we had time for this evening. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. You can take those little party horns. Party horns. No. Thank you guys for watching. You can take it, Cyanide. You can have that one. We don't want that back. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been great. But please do join us on the 18th of September for the next episode of the OMEN Esports Report. Until then, thanks from us and good night.
Good night.